have you noticed something strange? The harder you chase money, the faster it disappears. We're raised to believe that chasing is noble, that if you grind harder, hustle longer, sacrifice more, you'll eventually catch the prize. But what if I told you that's not how wealth works? What if chasing money actually repels it? Stuart Wilde used to say, the trick is not to chase money, the trick is to magnetize it to you. He spoke often of energy, frequency, and the inner landscape, not spreadsheets and marketing funnels, because in his world and mine, reality isn't built with effort, it's built with perception. Look around, we're living in a world obsessed with the hustle. Every YouTube ad screams, here's how to make 6 figures in 90 days. Every influencer preaches more action, more output, more urgency. And yet, why is everyone still broke, burnt out, or constantly one mistake away from collapse? It's because they're in the wrong energy field. And worse, they don't even know it. Wilde once called this the chaser's trance, a hypnotic loop where people become addicted to striving, thinking the next thing, the next sale, the next idea will save them. But in chasing, they radiate lack. And what you radiate, you attract more of. So here's the paradox we're about to explore. Why doing less, feeling more, and aligning your internal state can bring you more wealth than 10 years of grinding ever will. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how that works, backed by the teachings of Stuart Wilde and filtered through the lens of a world that desperately needs to wake up. Because once you see this, you can't unsee it. You've probably been told your whole life, if you want something, go get it. Push, work harder, outperform, out-hustle, outlast. But chasing, by its very nature, confirms one thing. You don't have it. And worse, you believe it's out there, somewhere far away. That belief alone shifts your entire energy field into a state of lack. Stuart Wilde explained this beautifully. He said, the universe doesn't respond to need, it responds to certainty. When you're chasing, you're telling the universe, I don't have it yet. I'm not enough yet. I'm trying to become something I'm not. That's not alignment, that's contradiction, it's spiritual dissonance. And so what happens? You run faster, you work longer, you pour more into funnels, crypto, consulting, clever tricks, anything to close the gap. But the gap was never real, it was perceptual. Wilde often said, you don't get what you want, you get what you are. Read that again. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. So what are you right now? Are you chasing or are you radiating? Because chasing is always forward-moving energy. It's grasping, it's leaning, it's hungry, it's telling reality, I'm not whole yet. And reality says, okay, let's keep you in that loop. That's why so many people are exhausted. They're sprinting through a maze, but the walls are made of mirrors, and every time they turn a corner, they just bump into a new version of their own desperation. Wilde called this the hamster wheel of karma. You spin and spin trying to earn your worth, but true worth can't be earned. It can only be remembered. So let me ask you this. What would it feel like to stop chasing? Not to give up, but to stand still. To shift your focus from running toward money to becoming the kind of person it runs toward. Let's clear something up. Money is not the result of effort. It's not the result of time. It's not even the result of being good at business. Money is the result of energy. Your energy. Wilde was obsessed with this. He said, you're not paid for what you do, you're paid for who you are, your vibrational state. That's why you can find 2 people selling the same thing. One is making millions and the other is struggling to make rent. It's not about the product, it's not about the funnel, it's about their field, their frequency, the invisible signal they're sending into the world. Money doesn't come to you because you work hard. It comes to you because you're in harmony with it. So let me ask you, how does your energy feel when you think about money? Be honest. Do you feel relaxed, expansive, light, or does your chest tighten? Does your breath get shallow? Do you feel like money is a battle to win or something that slips away? If there's tension in your body when you think about money, guess what? You're blocking the flow. Wilde talked about this idea of energetic tension creating psychic static, a kind of fog in your field that scrambles your signal. You might say you want wealth, but your energy is screaming, I'm scared, I'm in debt, I don't deserve this. And that's the frequency that goes out. In Wilde's world, money was almost like a cat. If you chase it, it runs. But if you sit still, warm, quiet, in your own power, it curls up next to you. You can't trick energy. You can't fake confidence. You either emit the frequency or you don't. That's why some people attract opportunity without even trying, while others push, hustle, grind, and go nowhere. So forget what school told you. Forget the lie that time equals money, vibration equals money, clarity equals money, calmness equals money. Not because calmness earns it, but because calmness puts you into the frequency where money feels safe to arrive. And now you're starting to see it, aren't you? The game was never out there. It was in here, in your field. Next, we'll look at how perception actually sculpts that field. How what you believe, consciously or unconsciously, either locks you into scarcity or opens the vault. Let's go deeper. If money is energy, then what shapes your energy? Perception. Stuart Wilde said, what you perceive, you energize. What you energize, you become. That's the formula. That's the operating system behind your life. Most people don't realize they're walking around with a distorted lens, one that was programmed by fear, media, childhood, trauma, culture. And then they wonder why nothing changes. Here's what most people do. They look at their bank account, they see the number, and they say, that's my reality. Wrong. That number is just a reflection of past perception. It's not truth, it's not destiny. It's just a screenshot of what your energy field used to be. Wilde used to say that the outer world is the last to know. The real shift happens inside, long before it shows up in your PayPal account. That's why transformation can feel lonely at first. You're changing your energy, but the world hasn't caught up yet. But catch up, it will. It always does. So ask yourself, what stories are you running in the background? I'm not good with money. I'm just not that lucky. Making money is hard. I have to prove my worth. Each of those is a spell, a micro prayer, a perception that becomes your frequency. Stuart Wilde would call that the theater of the mind. You don't just live in the world, you live in the movie you're projecting onto it. And most people are stuck in reruns they didn't even choose. The good news, you can choose again. You can start to perceive money differently, not as a struggle, but as a dance, not as something rare, but something responding to your essence. Try this. Tomorrow, walk around as if you're already wealthy, not cocky, not delusional, just deeply calm, unbothered, certain. Not because the number changed, but because your perception did. Wilde used to say, the moment you stop needing it is the moment it arrives, because need is noise, perception is signal. So which one are you broadcasting? You ever notice how the people who seem to have it all don't talk about it much? They're not shouting about their next big win. They're not begging the algorithm to validate their success. They just move differently. They're calm, clear, detached. That's not an accident. That's a state. And that state is magnetic. Stuart Wilde used to say, true power is silent. It doesn't explain itself. Because when you're truly in your flow, when your perception is sharp, your field is clean, you don't need to chase anything. You don't even need to speak much. Everything comes to you. That's the difference between being loud and being resonant, between broadcasting from lack and broadcasting from power. Think about this. Have you ever walked into a room and just felt someone's presence? They didn't say a word, but something about them was undeniable. That's resonance. That's wealth before the money even shows up. It's the frequency of someone who doesn't need, someone who's already enough. And ironically, those are the people money flows to without effort, because there's no resistance, no chasing, no fear. Now, don't confuse this with passivity. It's not about sitting on the couch waiting for a miracle. It's about taking action from alignment, not desperation. It's about choosing moves that come from clarity, not chaos. Wilde called this moving from the Tao. Not pushing the river, but letting it carry you because your direction is already locked in. This is why silence is so powerful. Not just the kind of silence where you're not talking, but the silence inside you. The gap between thoughts, the space where knowing lives. When you enter that space regularly, your energy smooths out. You become clearer, cleaner, more radiant, and money starts to find you. It's like you become a tuning fork. And the world starts to respond to your tone. The question is, are you brave enough to stop pushing, to stop forcing, to let things come without chasing? That's the work. Not in what you do, but in who you are while you're doing it. Let's talk about how you actually start practicing this, not in theory, but in real, grounded ways. So your field gets stronger, your perception sharper, and your results inevitable. So how do you shift into that state? That calm, magnetic presence that money can't help but respond to with energy hygiene. Most people clean their homes more often than they clean their energy, and they wonder why their life feels cluttered. Wilde talked about this constantly. He said, your energy field, your aura, is your true bank account. If it's heavy, chaotic, full of noise and self-doubt, then what you attract will match that vibration. But if it's light, open, charged with clarity and intent, you become like a beacon. Opportunities don't just come, they arrive on schedule. So what do you actually do? First, silence. Wilde called it the gateway. 5 minutes a day, just sit. No music, no affirmations, no goal, just silence. Let your thoughts pass. Let your breathing deepen. Let your energy settle. That silence is where your real power starts to leak in. Second, watch your inner language. Listen to how you talk to yourself. Do you say, I can't afford it? Or do you say, it's not aligned right now? One closes the door, the other holds it open. Stuart believed words were spells, and most people curse their wealth with casual language. Start blessing your money, even when it's small. Be reverent with it, appreciate it, because what you appreciate grows. Third, detach from the timeline. This one is hard, but it's everything. The moment you demand something now, you reveal your doubt, and that doubt pollutes the frequency. Wilde would say, need is noise, certainty is signal. When you trust that what you need is on the way, when you drop the deadline and embody the result, the universe tends to surprise you, fast. So ask yourself, are you open to receiving in unexpected ways? Or are you trying to micromanage the miracle? Let go a little. Not because you don't care, but because you know better than to force nature. The tree doesn't grow by yelling at the sky. It just roots down and lets the sun come. You are no different. And when you shift into that rhythm, clean energy, intentional language, trust over tension, money starts to behave differently around you. You stop chasing and it starts circling. And eventually, it lands. You're still here. That means something. It means this message didn't just make sense, it landed. It stirred something real. And maybe for the first time in a long time, you're seeing money, not as a problem to solve, but as a mirror, a reflection of you. Stuart Wilde used to say, reality is not fixed, it bends to your frequency. And you've been bending reality one way or another every single day through your thoughts, your words, your expectations. But now you're aware, and awareness is the first form of wealth. You're no longer chasing, you're becoming. And that's the difference between poverty of action and prosperity of energy. So let's anchor this together. Right now, say this with me, out loud if you can. I no longer chase, I align, I radiate, I receive. Again, I no longer chase, I align, I radiate, I receive. Feel how that shifts your body. That's you stepping out of the trance. That's you turning down the noise of the world and turning up the frequency of truth. Now, if this resonated with you, if something cracked open, I want to hear it. Drop a comment below and tell me what part hit the hardest. Not for the algorithm, but because it cements the lesson in you. And if you're ready to go deeper, to rebuild your perception, clean your field, and step into silent power, this journey's just getting started. There's more to explore, more to remember, and more of you that's still waiting to arrive. I'll see you in the next transmission. Until then, stay calm, stay clear, stay sovereign.